Hello, friends. It's very hot, so I have the air conditioner on. Apologies if the sound is loud when I talk. But hello! We're here to draw things. I'm gonna start doing that now. The pen was charging while I was doing all the tweeting and things, so hold on. Plug in this other thing. Okay. Let's get into it, I suppose. Actually, before I even begin, I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit, because I think I'm gonna do a horizontal thing. Like a bit of a couch here. I have to change that. I will change that. Morbin. Who said such a thing? I've been laughing extra hard about the Morbin jokes lately. Because I have a coworker who is not as online as I am due to recently having a child. So I got to explain to them the stupid Morbin time jokes that the internet's been making lately, and it's been just such a delight. Yeah, the fact that they put it out again and then it bombed again is my favorite thing about it. I really, really, really hope they make a sequel and it also bombs, because that would be very, very funny to me. He's looking too tall. Like a hello. Taller this way. Hold on 1 second. I heard a noise. Let me investigate. Okay, I'm back. I think that was just someone slamming a door below me. I'm unsure. Like a bean shape here. Further back shape. There Will Be Morbs is a very good one. I feel like There Will Be Morbs is the morb likely to be used as a thing. Okay, let me try actually doing this like this way. Dead. Let me try this. We'll have like a kind of like twist, sort of, here. Send me so many cursed things. No! Don't you do it. We're drawing raws tonight also. I haven't drawn them in a while, so I felt like I should. I want this whole situation to be moved this way. Probably more like this. Probably more like that. Way too big of an ear, but that's mostly just to let me know that it's there. Put one hand here. A little bit lower, actually.
You're gonna make one swell bear.
Sin or shotgun. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Headphones are bothering me. Yet again, I took a nap, and it was too long. So I was rushing to get onto stream at some point. I didn't want to miss one. I feel like I've been missing too many lately. I was like, oh, I'll just start a little late. But because of that, I've just turned on all the things. So I'm pretty sure I got everything, but I might have missed some stuff. From Insta, well, thank you for joining. I hope you have a lovely time. I don't need this to be this far down. Maybe I don't do that this way. What if I just put that. Just come further that way. That. More like that. This arm would be further forward then. Means it would probably be like up here-ish. And this means this would be like that-ish. Maybe I will put this a little more forward. Rico, hello. I think that's probably fine. I am going to need to push this up a little higher. This is probably going to be a little larger. A little bit more. Make this be higher up, probably, because he's a small boy. Maybe not that small though. Say like here, I think. The thing I always forget about Roz is that, like, even though he's small compared to everyone else, he's not like teeny tiny. It's very difficult to remember to make him not the teeniest, tiniest little thing. Something kind of like this, I think. Get rid of that. Keep it because it's, I don't know, it looks weird without it. Something like this. And I'm gonna bring this in a little more. Like here. I think this will be fine. Yeah. Like this. Sure. Let's try this color. I'm gonna try and stick to this palette as much as I can this time around, I think. And I wanted to mess with one of these brushes. I love the texture of these, but if I'm remembering correctly, the reason I don't use them is because of like a weird transparency thing. But I think it might also just be at its lightest, it's not as dark, or is not as thick as the one that I usually use, so that might be why. Oh no, wait, it was this one. I really like this brush, but I don't like the weird opacity that happens with it. Because it's got like that texture on it. Maybe I can, maybe I can mess with this some. This? Yeah. Try that. It's still kind of there. But I think that's more of like, has to do with the texture than anything. Opacity jitter is none. Where's the other thing? This? Opacity's none. Bleed, none. Okay. So like there a little bit. How do I get it to not do this? I don't remember. This is why I don't usually mess with brushes too often. Because it's like fine on this little preview screen, but not as much. Let's just go through all the things. Sorry if this is like not at all interesting. This what I want? Still like kind of there, I think. Yeah, I think it's kind of there, but I think it's because of the texture. Turn up hello. I don't know. Maybe I'll mess with this some other time. I don't know if I want to mess with it now. I'll try it and we'll see how it goes. This is the small boy. Everyone's favorite teeny friend. Yeah, I'm still getting that like weird opacity thing that I don't like, so I'm going to not do this, which is unfortunate. Oops. Half the size, twice the huggability. Coming this summer. The Huggable Boy. Coming to a theater near you. Tom Cruise is. Apparently Tom Cruise is kind of short though. From what I've seen people online say. I don't know how short he actually is, but I've heard that he's kind of short. Like shorter than you would think. Five two. I mean, I have no reason to not believe you. I'm gonna accept that as fact. Unless someone somewhere else gives me some other reason to not believe you. Oh. Pen am I using? I'm using the regular studio pen that I usually use. I just don't normally use this thickness. I usually either go much thinner than this or one step heavier than this. But I'm trying to be more like fluid with my marks this time around to get that like these areas down here that are like very heavy and then like some of these smaller areas up here. My goal is to not have to do as much for like shading and stuff when we get to that point, is my hope. I mean, I'm still going to do some stuff, but I'm hoping that the line weight will help to carry some of that, so it isn't as dependent on me not messing it up. seems fine. What was the thing I was gonna... Oh yeah. Started playing a new game lately. It's one of those games that I had on my Steam library forever. But I only just now was like, yeah, okay, I'll try it. I keep hearing it's good. I'll play it. And the game is Disco Elysium, which is why the stream is named that, because I was playing it before I fell asleep earlier. So far, I like it. I'm not very far into it, though. But so far, it's pretty fun. You're like a cop or something, and you're like investigating a murder. But it's like a point and click adventure type of thing. And also you're like not a very good cop, which is funny. But it's so far seems like very RPG, but also you're like a cop trying to solve a case. So there's like different stats you can spec with, or for, I should say. I tried to go like fairly middle of the road. That's the thing, is that it could be either or, Turnip. Like, I've had multiple instances so far where I could just like straight up like buy drugs from people and get very high, or just get very drunk for a lot of the investigation thus far. So like those opportunities are there. I'm trying not to do those things though. I want to see like how interesting I can be without those. It's over. What's 9 plus 10? Oh wait, what was the meme? 21? I guess it is, because that's the streak that you're on. 21 months is too long. That's too many months. Stop it. Stop it right now. But yeah, it's like a... Thank you, I appreciate your cooperation. It's like a kind of a mystery within a mystery, because you like wake up in an apartment building, or like in a hostel, with like no memory of how you got there and what it was that you're doing. Like, you don't even know what your name is or the fact that you're a cop until you like walk outside and someone's like, oh, you're a cop here to investigate that thing that happened. But the game is told primarily, or the information is conveyed to you primarily through text, which is like kind of narrated to you through what feels like a multiple personality situation, where various voices will tell you things depending on the context of what it is that you're doing. But yeah, so far it's been pretty cool. You can get like party members who join you as you wander around and do stuff. Yeah. I hope this is in the right place, because I don't want to have to redraw this. That's good enough. Working with really heavy lines like this can also be a bit of a challenge. As far as like remembering how to control your pen pressure, I guess, or the pressure with which you're pressing down on your strokes, make the marks on the page. I don't know if I like this. It needs to be further this way. Here's the problem. Oh, how is everybody doing, by the way? I didn't ask that yet. time for your check-in portion of the stream. How's your week starting off? I hope it's off to a wonderful start. Oh boy, this is certainly a shape we've got going on here for this leg. It needs to come further down. I like a lot. Going good. I'm glad to hear it. Get through reading the Watchmen comic. Oh man. I really hope you read it before watching the movie. Because reading it is so much, like, better. They changed the ending for the movie to be not as good. But it's very good in the comic. And it makes a lot of other weird things make sense in the comic. This is my endorsement of the Watchmen comic. If you have not read the Watchmen comic, you should go do that. Check it out. You'll probably enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. In the film, but it was a long time ago. Probably for the best. Oh, if you've watched the show for Watchmen also, it follows the comic ending and not the movie ending. So if you've seen the show, it's probably also spoilers. I remember having the hardest time trying to convince a friend of mine to read the comic first. Because they just wanted to watch the show when it came out, and I was like, please, I have I have the book. You can read it. Take it. I will bring it to you. I let him borrow it, but I don't know if he actually read it before the show came out or not. He just gave it back to me after a little while. Like, there you go. He didn't say anything about it, which leads me to believe he didn't actually read it. That makes me sad, because I thought the comic was very good. I'm overthinking this some more, I think. I do need this to be thinner up at the top than it is at the bottom. Finishing work, working on the next drawing. Nice. Looking forward to it. You're in this stream, and you follow me and not Turnip, you better go follow that delightful vegetable man. Go observe your drawings with your eyeballs. His drawings with your eyeballs. I don't remember if I said the correct word. I'm trying to figure out this drawing while talking. Oh, playing Mario Kart. Nice. I haven't played Mario Kart in such a long time. I didn't get it for Switch because by then it was like out for a while, and I was like, I don't know if I care about getting this game at this point. new DLC. Yeah, but like that's the thing, is it's like I feel like I've done all the things before. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel new enough to warrant the fact that it's Nintendo, so it's still like $60 or whatever. Not that it's not fun, it's just that it's like, for $60 I could be playing a lot of other things right now. Like Disco Elysium, which I got on sale for like $15 with all the DLC. For nothing burgers, it's true. That's like part of the problem for like buying Nintendo stuff, is that it's like, if you don't hop on that hype train as soon as it pulls into the station, you're still going to be paying full price for that ticket. And you're going to be like, why? Everyone stopped talking about this train 3 months ago. Or years in the case of Mario Kart. Aside from the DLC stuff, I guess. Uh, I don't know, maybe I've also just gotten like old and cynical. Sometimes it feels like I like to talk about games more than actually play them at this point. Like I like the idea of video games a lot more than actually playing some of them sometimes. Just like blasphemy. And also not entirely true, because like I just said, I'm still playing video games all the time. But still. Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014? I thought it was much more recent than that, but yeah, I guess you're not wrong. Wild. There are children who play that game that are not as old as that game, if you really think about it. Although I guess that can be said about a lot of popular games right now. Like, I'm pretty sure that like the target audience for like Minecraft and Roblox are younger than those games themselves. of these eyebrows is much larger than the other one. I don't want to make it smaller and try to fix that, so I'm just going to make this one bigger. In and out of races. I don't blame you. Go for the gold. Avoid the blue shells. I think part of the reason that I'm like avoiding playing those, or I don't think I would enjoy those games as much as I used to, is because I remember being very good at them, and I don't think I would still be as good. Possibly because I don't play them, so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy situation. Stick to second until the last map. The pro strats. But yeah, I remember, like, when the state of play happened and everyone was talking about, like, Street Fighter and stuff. I remember being like, I'm glad people are excited for this, but I also don't care. Like, I feel like I would have cared much more in years past. Maybe I'm just at a point in my life where I don't care about games in general as much, or it's just not been game properties that have been especially significant to me in particular. Because I'm not much of a fighting game person anyway. I've always been bad at them. Although apparently, like, the whole roster got leaked. No spoilers in the chat, but, like, I thought that was very funny. I had some friends who were like, yeah, every character is known now, because I guess Capcom is bad at keeping secrets or something. Something will come out soon. I hope so. I don't know, though. So who can say? But I've noticed that I've become more enthusiastic about, like, little indie games than, like, AAA games, so that might be why. I know there's, like, a Wholesome Direct happening soon, which is usually where I find most of my news about chill little indie games to play. Don't like this tangent that's here. Yeah, I think that's happening either later this week, if it didn't happen today. I don't know. Get hyped up for games you know you won't play. Yeah, same. I feel like all the games that I'm, like, super excited about are, like, still in development and won't be out of development for quite a while. So I'm just trying my best to, like, not think about them. because on the one hand, it's like, I want to like be a part of the like developer journey, you know? Get excited about all the little news things that are happening. But then at the same time, it's like by the time the game comes out, I feel like I'll know so much about it that I just won't be as interested in it as if I had known nothing. You know? I'm gonna not do this actually. I'll do it on a different layer. Try to leave all of the ROS bits just to themselves. Maximus, hello. How are you? I hope all is well. Yeah, curiosity can be pretty cool, but at the same time it's like, oh, I already kind of know what that's about now. But the two that are like that for me, that I know I'm still gonna get when they come out, but I'm still just like constantly watching all of the tweets that the developers put out about it anyway, are this game that I'm certain I'll get called Bear and Breakfast. It had a demo that came out that I refused to play because I was like, I'm gonna save this for when the game's out, because I want to play it when it's out. But it's like about a game where you manage a bed and breakfast, but also you're a bear and it's in the woods. Seems like a delight. And the other one is called Breeze in the Clouds. Like a little platformer. Plays a little dog. Other animal things. Art's really good. I think this is fine for this. So let's go to another layer. I'm gonna try to do this on another color just so that I can see more clearly what I'm doing. Just woke up from a nap, nice. Never a bad time for a nap, you know? Well, that's not true. There are some times where it is bad to nap. But if you're like at home, not working on anything especially important, then take that nap. Nap it on up. Yeah, if you're driving or operating a heavy vehicle, Don't do a nap. Be alert, please. Don't hurt yourself or others. That would be bad. Stay-at-home mattress tester sounds pretty great, though. I don't know that that's a thing that's real, but I want it to be. It's important to have aspirational goals in life. You want a match? Nice. Somebody get this fella a crown. Who is your go-to racer? My go-to for most Mario games, which is unfortunate because he's not a playable character in every Mario game, and that makes me sad, is usually Bowser Jr. I love the terrible problem child. But he's not always a person that you can play as, and that makes me sad. Lemmy? Nice. I don't remember which one that is. They're all just the Koopa kids to me, except Bowser Jr. Because I'm a horrible Mario fan who doesn't know anything about Mario. Looking forward to that Chris Pratt movie, though. Jokes, jokes, jokes. Roy the best boy. Is Roy the one with the sunglasses? Which one's the one with the sunglasses? I don't remember. Pink one with the shades. Okay, cool. I'm not as bad of a fan as I thought. Still pretty bad, though, in general. And yes, the Mario one. He's the K one. I wonder how development's going on that Mario movie. I feel like I haven't really heard anything about it in a long time. Not that I'm complaining. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a surprise in the entertainment business. Feels like everything is always kind of a little bit spoiled. Thanks to the way that the internet works these days. Ah. the script got leaked. Somehow I'm not surprised. Although maybe it'll be like a good thing. Because I remember that happened with the Powerpuff Girls movie that was like in development, and then they like completely scrapped the project because of how bad the script was. People were like, no, we don't actually want this film. I'm with you on that, Turnip. Maybe it'll be the newest Morbius. Except probably not, because I feel like people will get really mad about it either way. Maybe it will just be a meme, like the first Mario movie that everyone like said was awful. Mario bus, oh no. Oh, they were just making changes? I don't know. I know they at least scrapped that version of it because people didn't like it, because they were like, this is bad. Which sometimes, you know, is good. Keeps everybody from wasting all of their efforts. I'm gonna let that actually pass through here a little bit. Not this one. Let's add some more here. I guess I don't really need to be erasing everything that's beneath him, like I have been doing. But it's not that important. I've done it, so I'm gonna keep doing it, I guess. Laximus, hello. How you doing? Good enough, I guess. Right, here's the problem, is that I actually want this color I'm using to be color of this couch. I want this to be the background. Let's try this. Something like that, I guess. Let's go with this color for the couch. We'll just kind of start with these base colors for now. When you make a request, it depends on the request. You can make the request, but I cannot guarantee that I will uphold the request. Depends on the request. Green alien head-shaped pillow. I could maybe fit one by his foot? Maybe? Like, over here? Wait. Needs to be above that, I think. Kinda like that, I guess. Perhaps? If I do this, it will have to be bigger than that, though. Something like that, I guess. Maybe I'll just put this up here for now. Oh, I was gonna do this instead, I think. Yes. I will do this instead. Bring this down some. Probably like here's fine. Oops. That in. And I wanted to grab some of this color, I think. Maybe I should, like, fix the color on this other set of lines before I start getting too deep in the weeds with the lighting I'm doing. Donnie, hello. We got a Roz drawing tonight. Everyone's favorite teeny space farer. Not sure if what I'm doing is technically accurate or correct, but what I'm going with for now. Something like this, I think. Back from the races? Nice. How did the rest of your races go? Did you win? Did you feel the need? The need for speed? Derped. Oh no. Well, can't win them all, I guess. Felt the need for candy. I mean, that's valid. I keep candy around just for such an occasion. Oh man, but speaking of, speed things, I guess. I watched, one of the Fast and Furious movies recently. I don't remember which one at this point. The most recent one, I'm pretty sure. But boy howdy, stuff just kind of happens in those films, huh? Like, things were just kind of occurring. And I was like, oh. Okay. I guess this is where we're at with this movie. I'm gonna toss this on here. Turn it down just a little. This is the couch. Here's the pillow. Plot is secondary, it's true. My favorite thing about it was that it like began with they were like at Vin Diesel's house, right? Like off the grid. They were like, we're out of the game, essentially. We have a child now to take care of, right? And then they get a call from their secret spy friends, because I guess they're spies now at this point. These are just spy movies and not like anything remotely to do with racing cars. And they were like, we're out of the game, we can't get back in, we have a small child to take care of. And then like they're just like back in almost immediately, because of course they are, because if not there wouldn't be a film. But the whole time I was like, what happened to the child? They like alluded to it being a thing that like one of the characters was like, oh yeah, don't worry, so and so is taking care of the child. But then that character shows up later to be with them in the action also, and I was like, wait, so then who's watching this small child that they just left in the middle of nowhere? Because like the whole point of them, like they were out in the middle of like nowhere to be off the grid so that they wouldn't be contacted about this stuff. But then their friends show up and they're like, yeah, we're on a plane, wheels up at 8 in the morning if you change your mind and want to come on this spy adventure with us or whatever. And they were like, we can't, we have a child. But the one girl is like, alright, I'm going because I'm not here to raise no child. And then she like is like, bye, Vin Diesel, I'm gonna go hang out with our friends and do spy things. And then Vin Diesel shows up before they take off, and I'm like, so you just left the baby? Who would have come over in that amount of time to come take care of this baby? No one explained. He was just on the plane, and it was only a night had transpired, and they were in the middle of nowhere. He didn't have the child with them when he arrived at the airplane. I don't know. It was very strange. It bothered me for the whole rest of the movie. Because I was like, they're doing all this, like, okay, there were a lot of things about it that bothered me, but that was the one that I kept coming back to. It was like, where's the child that they left? When every other word out of the mouth of these characters is something related to family, and you just abandon your child. You abandon your boy. Suspension of disbelief, I guess. Also, hello, Hekvetica. I'm on a whole thing right now. Sorry for not saying hello a second ago, but I'm having a moment. I'm gonna break away from the palette just because of the skin tone thing. But yeah, I was like, because things just like were happening, right? And they make reference to like all of these other characters that were there. as if I'm supposed to like remember who these people are by name and not like they would mention a character's name and I'd be like, who is that? And then the person would show up later and I'm like, oh, it's like Bow Wow or whatever random famous person is supposed to be here. Because I just know them by the actors' names at that point and not like the character names. But like because of the like fast nature of the plot, things just like occur and they assume that you're like on board with them the whole time. Because they have like they're like, we have to get to the action now, so we're just gonna keep going. Wasn't Ludacris? Ludacris is in all of them, I think. He's still in them. He's still doing things, I'm pretty sure. Unless I completely am not remembering who this person is. But I'm like 90% sure he was in the one that I watched, which is the most recent one, I think. The one I watched had John Cena in it. I don't remember if that's the most recent one or not. But that's the one that I watched. But at one point they like referenced, they were like, oh yeah, and then Cypher, or whatever her name is, and I was like, who the heck is Cypher? And then they cut to a clip of it, and it's like, oh yeah, it's Charlize Theron. That's who they meant. I don't know who Cypher is, I know who the actress is. I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand. So like part of me is kind of like annoyed about the suspension of disbelief, but also part of me wants more of like ignoring of the suspension of disbelief to just be like, no, it's not Dom, it's Vin Diesel. Just call him Vin Diesel, please. So that everyone understands who you're talking about. Without having to take a second to be like, wait, who is that again? Which famous person is that? All in all, they're just very silly popcorn movies, so it's not like mission critical information to have all the time, but still. I watched it and I didn't enjoy the experience. And I guess I'll leave it at that. There were some fun shots though, I guess, so I'll give them that. But that's how all those movies are, where it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of a fun thing, but also it's very goofy. I almost forgot about his other earring. Tizzle, hello! If everyone's character name was just, yeah. I would enjoy that immensely if it was just the actor and actress names of everybody instead. I think that would be very funny. And also would be very helpful for me, a member of the audience who doesn't care enough to remember the actual character names. But I may be in the minority there. I don't know if the other people who enjoy those films actually know and or care about who all the various characters are. Or if everyone just goes and rewatches them all immediately before, just to like get a refresher on what's going on. I think let's try this color on top of everything. That will probably be fine. Yeah, like that movie. What is that called? Is that This Is the End? Is that the name of that one? Am I thinking of a different movie? The series is so rich in lore. Like, you say that, but it kind of is. Like, I'm not sure if you were joking or not, but like, yeah, there's a lot to keep track of at this point because there's like about to be 10 of them. Not to mention like the one that was just uh The Rock and Jason Statham together. I don't know if that one counts as like one of the main ones. But yeah, it was just very goofy because they would be like referencing things, especially in this one where it was like, yeah, we're gonna reference like, remember when these used to be about racing cars? And they would have like flashbacks to moments where it was just about racing cars. It's like, oh yeah, what have these films become now? Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know if that one counts as like a main one or not, but I know that the most recent one that came out was called Number 9. Like Fast and Furious 9 or whatever. Which leads me to believe that there are more than 9 at this point, if you count the spin-offs. Key, hello. Orbin time. Watched up to Tokyo Drift, yeah. The characters from Tokyo Drift were in the 9th one, which I thought was funny. Because it was like, hey, remember that we exist still? We're doing stuff. Probably. They were kind of there for comic relief, but also kind of there as a plot device, because at one point, they're like running out of things to do in these films. I don't know if anyone... I feel like at this point, if you haven't seen that movie, you don't care about them as much. So I'm just going to talk about some things that occur. You don't want some spoilers, I'm sorry. Like, plug your ears for a little while, I guess. But yeah, they like go to space in this one for a second. So the dudes from Tokyo Drift are there because they need to strap a rocket to the back of a car because they can't just fly a spaceship. It has to be a car. Still. Because they're like, I don't know nothing about no spaceships, but I know how to drive a car. And it's like, this isn't how this works. They like drive it into a satellite at one point. And it's like, I don't think you understand. You don't just like drive your... You don't just drive a car. Like, the spaceship to car parallel is not as close as you think it is. Very, very, very silly movie. I think this will be fine. Yeah, they went full on Buzz Lightyear, Infinity and Beyond out there, and it was a time. My favorite part is that they had the 2 comic relief characters go up there to space. And so like one of the lines that they say is like, no one is ever gonna believe that we went to space. And it's like, yeah, of course they wouldn't. Why would anyone believe that? I don't believe it, and I'm watching it happen. Yeah, they're already planning a new one. A lot of... Oh yeah, Cardi B, I forgot she was in this movie. She was there for a second. I was like, wait. No, wait. Was that her? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Cardi B. Cardi B, oh no. That down, because that's like way too bright. To his earrings right now, because I usually forget about those. Yeah, man. Very goofy movie. Just such a delight. Fun time to be had by all. I know they're on the 10th one, and I don't think they are, Sizzle, good night. Thank you for stopping by. I don't think they're gonna do the meme that everyone wanted them to do like 2 movies ago, and that makes me sad. Because when number 8 came out, I think it might have actually been sooner than 8. I think it was probably around 7 when people started making the jokes about how they were like, once they get to 10, they should use the tagline, "Fast 10 your seatbelts," for the summer's hit action film, or something stupid like that. And first of all, yes, it's a good joke. A+, way to go. But secondly, I don't think that they're using it, and it makes me sad. Because it's so perfect. It's a very good joke. Actually, I think I want this to be like this shape. What's she doing the car noises? That's very good. Yeah, what a journey those films are. I've slightly given up on these stripes. They're not going to be super accurate anymore. I did my best, okay? They're just here now. It just reminded me of the apparently very real movie that's coming out that I think has Kevin Bacon in it. It's like a slasher horror film about teens at a like a gay conversion therapy camp being murdered by a serial murderer, and the film is called They/Them, which is just a perfect film title. I'm 90% sure it was like a tweet or a Tumblr joke that someone actually was like, "Hey, hold on. we can do something with that." And then they did. It happened. Let's go with a lighter color this time for this one. Bodies, bodies, bodies. I like the idea of that movie more than I like expect to enjoy that movie. If that makes sense. Like, I don't think I will like it. But if it's one of those movies that, like, if it's on in my vicinity, I would watch it, but I wouldn't seek it out, you know? Need to be doing this in relation to the one closer stripe, not the other ones. Every time I give this boy plaid, I regret it, but it's always so much fun to do. I kind of also don't regret it. Crimes of the Future. I don't know what that is. So maybe? With Kristen Stewart? Min, hello. Love the plaid. Thanks. It's fun so far, but we'll see if that continues to be the case. It's already not. I already hate it. I always forget that plaid is like a huge pain when it comes to foreshortening things. Good enough. And we're gonna do one more. This is always the... Good night. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely evening. Wait, I want this to be like here, actually. Yeah. Okay, select that. Do it again. And one more time. Yeah. Plaid. Okay. What other colors were we using here? Let's try this color and see if it works. I don't know if it will. I don't want it to be too close to the couch color, but it might be. Sorry, I was responding to a text message. Try not to text while streaming for that exact reason. I tend to overthink communicating. Yeah, that's fine. I was concerned, but it's okay. A little less, I think. Let's go with this color, I guess. Something like that. Jinx, hello. Welcome. Fabric studies like clothing and stuff? Yes and no. It was also sort of like part of how the life drawing sessions would go. Plus there would also be times where like we would have to draw something that wasn't necessarily like they didn't have a model come in or whatever, you know? It was just like, here's a pile of objects on a table. So that way you could stay there for like a number of classes without like having to worry about stuff getting moved or whatever, you know? And a lot of the time those would include like some kind of, like the objects would be on a fabric surface or something, so there's like some minimal practice with like folds in that way, but a lot of the like practice for folds is just from observation mostly. There's lots of like little tidbits and tutorials folks put out there on the internet sometimes about like, hey, when a person does this, their clothing is likely to do this, and it's like, oh, yeah, of course. But also just generally like observing things, you know. Just like look at your clothes sometime and just try to practice drawing the folds. I definitely don't do them entirely accurate all of the time. I just kind of guess a lot of the time, but after enough practice, you can kind of make some generally informed guesses. And yes, take photos for sure. If you can't find reference for stuff, use your phone. 100%. I just did that the other day, actually. That most recent Jesse drawing was from ya boy. Was looking for photos and couldn't find one, so I had to just take a picture. So, use the resources that you have available at your disposal. Be the reference you want to see in the world, for sure. Yes, that one. Maximus. I propped my phone up on a thing and hit the button to take a picture. And chose elements of like 4 and kind of smush them together. I'm glad you like it, though. It was definitely a fun one. It's always kind of difficult using myself as reference. I'm not as big as the boys are. I have to make some guesses sometimes. And sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Which is why I always say use reference when you can, because there will come some times when you cannot. And in those instances, it'll be better to have the experience of having used a reference for something, or the ability to sort of piece through different things. Like, if you need a pose from a particular angle, and you can get reference of like the pose, but not of the angle. If you've drawn a bunch of stuff from similar angles before, you'll kind of be able to be better equipped to look at a reference that isn't necessarily perfect, to be like, okay, what is it about this that is appealing, or what I'm trying to convey in an image right now. And it'll help to really think through those sort of like visual problem-solving moments that you'll run into inevitably. So yeah, short version, use reference because you won't have it always. And the times that you won't have it will be improved by your experience and practice with using reference and learning before you get to the point where you don't have any. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Use the homies for reference. I mean, yeah, if you have friends who will help you, definitely do that. But sometimes it's literally like a thing that you cannot possibly have reference for, especially if you're doing like a non-slice of life like setting or something. Where you have like some sort of action or pose that is like not at all a thing that you would have in the real world. But sometimes also you can get away with like doing something similar, and just kind of using the parts of the image or pose that you need. Like I see exercises all the time where folks will do like, I need to draw a spaceship, so I'm gonna look at the objects that I have on my desk, and try to draw a spaceship based upon how that thing looks. Or I think I talked about this once where if you're like trying to draw sword fight poses, it may not always be possible for you to find the reference for sword fight poses because that's not a thing people do so much anymore. But people do play tennis a lot, and there are a lot of tennis reference images that you can find that have similar enough poses that if you just replace the tennis racket with a sword, you can get away with it a lot of the time. So just look at reference and try to be kind of creative about the reference you're looking at depending on what you need it for. Use reference when you can, and when you can't, try to get something kind of close, and you will have a less difficult time trying to figure things out if you have something to look at. But again, not having reference is not the end of the world. So you don't have a thing to look at, do not be completely discouraged. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Ah. Hand slipped off the edge of the tablet. I was talking to a friend the other day about this is like completely not at all related to that thing I was just talking about, but I heard it in the song, so I'm going to talk about this now for a second. But the little Navi hey feels like a very commonly sampled audio clip. Like I feel like I hear it a lot in songs. But maybe that's just the type of music I listen to, so I don't know. But it feels like a thing that comes up a lot. I don't want to say it's like the most sampled audio clip because I'm sure that someone somewhere will be like able to point out like some sort of drum sound that is actually the most sampled thing in the world, but it's certainly up there. Serving a tennis ball with a broadsword. That seems dangerous and I don't recommend it. But for the sake of like coming up with a pose, it could be done. You can do it. Serena Williams with armor would be pretty cool. Tennis with Saint Seiya outfits. It could be done. I didn't really intend for this to be overlay like this, but I kind of dig it, actually. So I think I'll go with that instead. And maybe I'll do the same for the couch also. I lied, no I won't. I'll do color dodge though, because it's kind of close. Do I want to do another one of these? I kind of do. I think I will. I think what I'll do is, I'll do this one on color dodge. And I'll do it this way. Sometimes this kind of lighting is fun to do, but also it's kind of a pain sometimes. It gives the effect of like kind of a gradient, but not really. If that makes sense. And achieves similar vibes without actually having a thingy. Oh, hello! The wigs, the reveals. I feel like they're just too busy worried about that ball that they gotta hit for the wigs and reveals, unfortunately, so I think that takes precedence. Seen the Prince of Tennis? I haven't actually seen Prince of Tennis, so I'm gonna take your word for it on that one. The same friend that I was talking about the Navi sample with also was telling me about this anime movie that's supposed to be coming out like next month, I guess? I don't remember the name of it, but it's like actually 2 movies that are releasing at the same time, and it's like a love story. And depending on the order in which you watch them, it like affects how the ending of the love story goes. So I'm curious to see what that is going to be like when that comes out. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it was like a marketing thing, or a part of the marketing for it. So I imagine it's like you get one character's perspective in one of the movies, and then you get another character's perspective in the other movie or something. So like the order in which you watch them determines like which perspective you have going into the second film. If that makes sense. Like you'll know about certain things versus other things or something. I'm gonna just get rid of all of the things over here and put in my own. Kinda trying to stay to where I had the other ones, but I also don't really care that much about where I put the other ones. Something like that. I got distracted by texts. I was looking for the thing my friend sent me about this movie. Yeah, it's just like it's just two romance movies. It looks like it might be two different couples. And then depending on like what order you watched them in affects how the ending goes for you, I guess. I don't know. It seems like a neat concept. Apparently it comes out in July. Jinx, good night. Thank you for stopping by. At the store and you bought a baguette. Baguettes are great. I haven't had one in a long time, but always good bread, those baguettes. Never had a baguette I didn't like.
You're gonna make one swell bear.
Emma Gemma. You have a very fun name to say. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Why, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. this that's happening here. A little bit better, I think. Welcome back, Laximus. I don't remember if you were here when we were doing the shading, but if not, we're doing the shading now. Oh, I forgot about his fingers. This song feels like it's going to be a lot. I'm going to skip it. Okay. Is that the final step? No. The final step is usually slapping a bunch of gradients on this and then hitting it with a gradient map to make all the colors kind of fit together. Because even though I try to stick to like using particular palettes and stuff, a lot of the time, especially for these boys, this song also feels like it's about to be a lot. What the heck? Especially for the boys though, I will use the same colors every time for certain things, and then kind of apply other layers on top of those to kind of adjust the color a little bit, if that makes sense. Because I'm not the best at like picking out a color to be like, oh yeah, these colors go great together for this palette or whatever. So what I usually do is I will try to rely on a palette that I've obtained from like a photograph normally. Sometimes it's even just like a screenshot of something that I thought looked really nice visually. And I just like the colors or something. But yeah, I'll try to find some kind of color palette that I can kind of rely on a little bit for like informing primarily like clothing and background elements a lot of the time. But when it comes to like skin and hair, details like that, I usually use the same colors every time, and then we'll put another color on like some sort of blending mode over top of that. Oops. As a way to sort of make the colors that I usually would use match, if that makes sense. Here, I'll show you like an example. So I'm using this color palette right now. And this is his usual skin tone and usual hair color that I always will use. But it kind of stands out like too much from the colors that are around it. So I grabbed another color from the palette I'm using and just kind of put it over top of everything and reduced the opacity a little bit. So now it kind of looks like he's in the scene a little bit closer than this one where he stands out like a lot. And then I use blending modes for various shading layers on top of those things. That's generally how I color stuff. I'm not great at it, so I kind of cheat a little bit. And then, like I said, I will, at the end of all this, go and put like a gradient map on top of it, which will get all the colors even closer to some sort of unified palette or something. Family got pizza while you were napping. Nice. Waking up to pizza sounds pretty good to me. Few slices left. Better grab them before they're gone. One thing I'm trying to do here, yes, you can ask your long-winded question while I talk about what I'm doing. But one thing I'm trying to do here is, as I'm erasing this layer, is to try and make sure that the light shapes here are rounded. I'm not trying to not have any like super pointy edges on these. To like kind of bring down how harsh these shapes are, but also to make it sort of look like I did this in the reverse of the way that I'm doing it. I want it to look like I did this in an additive way and not a subtractive way. So by having all the shapes kind of rounded, it sort of gives the appearance of me having put these lights here rather than taken away parts of the shapes beneath to create those lights, if that makes sense. Like, it makes it feel like it's sort of sitting on top of the layer that's below it, rather than looking like a clipping mask that's sort of bound to the layer that's beneath it. There isn't like a right or wrong way to do that, by the way. It's just like an aesthetic preference for this particular image. And just like the line art stuff from earlier, I'm trying to keep in mind where the light would be brightest, and I want to try and keep more of the light in those places. But like here, like for example here on this portion, this part of his leg on the left here would be closer to where the light is, and the side on the right would be further. So I can erase more on the right side because it's further away from the light. And that way it kind of gives the impression of like I mentioned earlier, like a gradient situation, where it's kind of like brightest here and fades away over there, if that makes sense. Very curious about this question now that there's been this long pause. Last time jump roped? Honestly, probably, no, wait, I took like a fitness class once in college. There was like a requirement to do some sort of like health and fitness thing as part of the general education requirements. So I did that in my freshman year. A, to get it out of the way, but B, because everyone, when I went to school, was like, oh, you're gonna gain a ton of weight. I was like, well, maybe I should do this and like at least know what it what I should be doing if I decide I want to be healthy. And then I just completely never did any of those things ever again. But I jump rope in that. The class basically was just like, here, exercise, and then occasionally you'll take a test about fitness. But mostly it's about exercise. So I did that and I was like, oh, okay. Now that I know what it's like to be healthy, I never want to be healthy again. And I spent the entire rest of my time in school just consuming horrible food and being as sedentary as possible. A lot of the time. Don't be like me, kids. Yeah, I think that might be okay. Part of me kind of wants to do another one for the couch situation, so I think I'll do that a little bit here. But unlike before, I'm just gonna do this on top of everything. And I'm gonna try and do it a little more sparingly, so I'm not gonna duplicate the layer and erase like I was doing before. I don't want to do that much. Oh. I was concerned about the question because you hadn't asked it after asking if you could ask it, and now I see that you were typing for quite a long time. Okay. Let me see. Alright. Doing a drawing. You're coloring it, you reach a point where you're going to add shading and highlights, flatten the layers to do clipping mask for the lighting. Accidentally include a fill layer of solid black. Able to delete it. Still leaves dark pixels stuck to the line work. If the dark pixels are like atop the line art layer, you can just fill the whole line art layer with a solid color again, if that makes sense. Like if it's discoloring the line art, that's not a terribly difficult fix. But if it's like in addition to the line art stuff, you would just have to like go in and erase the things, unfortunately. That would be how I would do it. Just gotta erase the random artifacts that are there. I don't like this. I thought I might, and I don't. But yeah, for that reason specifically, I try to never flatten stuff down once I've created layers for things. Like whenever you're doing stuff that involves like a clipping mask or whatever, I just try to keep it as separate as possible for that exact reason. Because like once you flatten something down, it's such a huge pain to fix a lot of the time if you've got something you want to change. So the way that I generally set up my documents is in such a way that should I want to change any of these particular elements at any point in time, it wouldn't be like a huge pain, but it would still probably be a bit of a pain. But yeah, anytime you like start flattening things and merging things, then it's always like, okay. I always get like very tense in those moments where I'm like, okay, am I 100% sure that I'm not going to want to change this later? And if that is ever like, nah, then I try my best to do it in such a way that if I do have to change it, it is not a large pain in the butt. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I do like when I do flat colors, the way that I do them, where I just fill in the base skin tone and then everything that goes above it as a clipping mask. Like, part of that is why. So if I wanted to, for instance, change like his shirt to be a different color or something, I can do that with just like very easily filling in the solid color layer or whatever. Because I've had a lot of points in time where that has been like a thing for me, where I'm like, oh, this is really cool, but like the color of his shirt doesn't quite match the palette. What am I gonna do? And then sometimes it'll be like I have to go and recolor the whole shirt situation. But thanks to the arbitrary deadline that I set for myself in the past, where I would have to be done at a certain time every day, you sort of learn how to cut corners and save time for stuff when you have just a number of hours to try and fully convey an image that you've got in your brain. The kind of upside about that, though, is that you can bounce back from those very quickly when you're doing them very frequently, because you're like, oh man, I didn't do this the way that I wanted, so it didn't come out quite how I was expecting. But you can always just be like, well, that was just a lesson for the next time, and then you can either try it again tomorrow or do something completely different. Which is often what would happen for me. I think I'll do one more that's like this color, but I'll only do it back here. But yeah, that was a feeling that I would feel a lot when doing the daily drawings every day. It'd be like, you kind of get like part of the way through the drawing and you're like, oh man, this is already not at all what I want, but I don't really have the time to go back and fix it the way that it would require me to go back and like fix it to get it the way that I want. So you kind of just have to finish it and then be like, all right, next time I do this, I will know for sure not to do it this way. Which is like kind of frustrating, but also like it really drives the point home a lot harder when you have to spend a period of time looking at a mistake, knowing that it's wrong, and not having the time to go back and fix it, and just kind of having to like live with it. Because then you're right, you you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely not gonna make this same choice in the future. Oh no, Mercury crashed. It's fine. I'm pretty sure my iPad needs to do an update. And I just haven't done it yet. We were talking about the new Apple stuff today. That was a thing that happened also today. I think I want this. Switch it like here. But yeah, the that feature that they talked about with the phone camera thing was like kind of neat, but also at the same time, there was like a point in it where I was like, I don't know about that. If you're unfamiliar, they announced a feature that's kind of coming where it's kind of similar to the sidecar feature that exists currently on Apple products, where like if, for example, I had my laptop here next to me while I was drawing on this iPad, I could like tell my laptop, my Apple laptop, that I wanted to use the iPad as like a secondary input. I've had to use it in the past for like design stuff. Like I needed to like cut out a person in a photograph in Photoshop. So I would open up Photoshop on my laptop and then open my iPad and do all the drawing stuff on the iPad, rather than having to like get a whole other tablet just to hook it up to my computer, or get the iPad version of Photoshop to do the thing that I'm trying to do. So they have a similar thing that's coming where they were like, yeah, we know everyone is constantly on like video calls now, and oftentimes the best camera you've got is the one that's on your phone. So we're adding a thing where now you can just tell your computer to use your phone camera as the camera for the webcam for the call that you're doing. And there was like this really cool thing where like they used an iPhone camera like sitting on a laptop, like if this is where the keyboard is and this is the laptop, the phone was like up on top. And during a call, they were able to simulate the sort of top-down view that I've got going on here with just the phone on the back of the laptop. I don't know how good that's going to actually look. It looked like, to me, it looked like they just took a video from the top down and put it on the screen. Like, that's the kind of thing that's, until you are able to see it in person, it's not going to be a thing that I believe is as good as it looks anywhere. But the part about it that made me a little bit uneasy was that they were like, yeah, it just sort of like works. You don't even really have to unlock your phone. You can just do it. And I was like, hold on. I feel like I would at least want some sort of notification to show up on my phone to say, hey, something is using your phone's camera. do you want that to be the case, yes or no? Like, it might be inconvenient to have to do that every time, but I would still want it to happen every time. Because that seems kind of sketchy. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but to me, I would rather have some sort of notification to be like, hey, something is using your camera. Be aware. We're nearly done, you guys. But it did seem like a very cool feature. Like, you're like, yeah, rather than begging us to put a better camera in our computers, just use the better camera that we are giving you every year on your phone. So on paper, it's like a very cool and good idea, but yeah. Just that, like, you don't have to unlock your phone thing. I mean, it's tied to, like, your accounts that are persistent across the platform. I understand. Like, it would still need to be, like, your phone with your iCloud account or whatever, but still, man. Have some sort of pop-up somewhere, just for me and the others who are paranoid like me. Because I'm certain I'm not the only person who heard that and was like, I don't know about that one. Feels like it's just waiting to be a plot point in a movie where something gets hacked. I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm not saying that these are even justifiable concerns. However, they are concerns. That's all I'm saying. Alright, there's all our gradients. I can put all these together as sketch layers that I'm not going to use. Sketch is groups that we're mainly concerned about. I'm going to come over here, copy the whole canvas, paste it down as one little image there. And now we can come in here with our gradient maps. Gradient maps and our blending modes to just kind of punch up the colors a little bit, kind of bring them together a little bit. Usually the thing that I'm looking for with these gradient map effects are like things that will help to sort of either unify the colors a little more for me or like increase the contrast in a way that's appealing. Like to make my light areas look lighter and my dark areas look darker. Just to kind of give an idea, like this is without those adjustments, this is with those adjustments. It's not like super dramatic, but it's enough, right? It sort of sells a mood a little bit better. And that's really all I want. A little bit more of a Baroque flavor to this one, you know? A real, what's that called? Chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. That technique. Where everything looks like it's kind of dark and there's like a very bright light at some point in the image. I'm just really drawn to those type of older paintings, though. You see it show up a lot in my lighting. That's why I think it looks really cool when it's really dramatic. And I'm bad at doing like subtle lights and pastel colors as a result. I'm gonna set this to add and then turn it down. Now, if I really wanted to spend a ton more time, I could go back in and do what I did for the lighting, but again, for like shadows. And that would make this even more dramatic. Like the lighting would appear even harsher. But certain spots would be notably darker. Like, off the top of my head, some spots under his hand here, under his shirt there. Probably like the far side of his face I would hit, and like a little bit around the back side in between. Like the bottom part of this couch here I would probably hit. I just drew a bunch of stuff, I think, accidentally. And I'd also probably get a little bit here in his leg area. But I know, I'm pointing this out because I know if I was to actually start to do it, I would be here for like another 2 hours. Just kind of fiddling around with it, and I don't really want to do that right now, so I'm just going to stop it here. But yeah, all that to say, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a done one. I'm going to copy the whole canvas, paste it in as a single layer again. And I'm going to grab a small round brush, and we're just going to delete a pixel here so that I can export this as a transparency, and hopefully it will not get as crushed with compression online. Yeah. That's it. That'll be it this time. I'm gonna hit the replay button and we're gonna watch a replay happen. Thank you guys for sticking around and hanging out for this sleepy napping boy. It had been a while since I drew our little lad. And I felt that I needed to. So I did. I'm always very bad at ending these streams. I don't know if you guys knew that about me. But it is in fact the case. I should be back again hopefully Wednesday. Probably. Most likely. Unless something comes up, or unless I fall asleep for too long, or I get too distracted with video games. But have a wonderful week, everybody. Go do something really cool for someone, and be the good you want to see in the world, I guess. Bring it back to a thing we talked about like an hour ago. If you want to see more drawings like this, or the finished version of this, you can find it on my Twitter and on my Instagram. It'll probably be there in like 15 minutes or something. This one will. There's other older ones that are already there that you can find. I'm the same name in those places that I am here. Is what I was getting to eventually. If you want to watch older streams, if you're here on Twitch and you're subscribed, you can watch the most recent stream. If you're not, all of the other streams are also available on YouTube. Again, the same name there as here. If you're already on YouTube and you're watching this in the future, hello. What's the future like? I hope it's cool. Yeah, that's about it. I feel like I need some kind of a sign-off for these streams, but I've apparently been doing this for however many months. Silver is subscribed for 21 months, too many months. And in that entire time, I still haven't come up with a sign-off, so maybe it's just not gonna happen. But yeah, let's go say hi to Mr. Frumps. He's playing Valorant, and yeah, we're gonna go say hi and stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Um, yeah. Farewell. Goodbye. Stay soft, friends. I don't know about that one, Silver. I don't know. We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it for next time. See you guys later. Goodbye.